All right, this is a discussion video for another Hallenberg invention with the Montessori materials. It is combining the use of the golden mat with the racks and tubes for subtraction. And when I first heard about this, I thought to myself, how did this come about? Aren't we breaking the rules a little bit? And once I saw it in action, I realized that his innovation fit right within the Montessori scheme, that it didn't change the meaning of any of the materials, and in fact, it seemed like that they were born to be with each other, so to speak. And all you'll need for this is, of course, the typical materials that you do use for the golden mat, but instead of using bead bars or stamps, we're going to be using the racks and tubes beads. And what we'll set up in here, as you'll notice, this will be the minuend. And for those of you who have not been introduced to the racks and tubes, there's usually a little bit more coming along with this material. This is just half of the material for racks and tubes. The rest of the material are typically the skittles that are used, which is used for division, and the 4 boards. 2 of them are green at the top, 1 is blue, 1 is red for the divisor, which we'll be going into a little bit shortly. So what we're just using right now are the racks and tubes, the beads themselves, and the cups. And just to give you a little primer here, each tube has 10 beads. Now, when we're going to be working with division, this is going to be instrumental in helping the child cut to the chase, because what we do with our stamp game is that there's a lot of exchange, there's a lot of work, there's a lot of give and take and such, and then the kids get a little tired of it, because if they're showing fatigue, that means they're ready for the next level of abstraction with that concept. And for the next level of abstraction, this answers to that perfectly, because it has all of your 10 in a row. And if you need to borrow from, if you need to make 10 units, you have 10 already to go, just pouring it in the cup. So easy as pie like that. Okay. So, but for this time around, I'm just going to put it on back for just a little bit. And in essence, it could also be considered a little bit of an indirect aim to learn about how to work with the racks and tubes individually with this. And I will give some pointers that you see that I'm working with them. I try to work with them one at a time. It's a little hard to do with the older students. Sometimes you hold 1 or 2, but remember, we're reinforcing the pincer grip. But I do not highly advise you just, having the kids kind of saying, oh, okay, pour it out over here and put it in here. The beads always need to be either in the test tube or in the receptacle. And we have another addition is that as long as they're on the mat here. All right, and then with a test tube division, the only places that the beads could be will be either in the test tube, in the receptacle, or in the wooden board. They should not go anywhere else. So this is, when I saw this again, when I saw this put together, I thought to myself, my gosh, that's exactly what's needed, because it always seemed like that life stopped at bead frames and stamp games and such, and we want to always have the children get the experience of working with all of the operations, but with very large numbers. And this is a perfect venue for it. You don't have just to go up only until 1,000 or up to 10,000. So you can go up to millions and provide that child with an experience of reinforcing a new operation and using big numbers. Otherwise, what's the sense in learning about math? So enjoy and see what happens next.